Okay, in the last lesson we learned the future and the imperfect tense for verbs. The future is the future time imperfect aspect, what we call the future tense, and we learned that this was marked by the infix bi, to which we attached our person and number endings, ost, most dissonant. The imperfect was our past incomplete, was verbing, the imperfect tense, and this was marked by the infix ba, right? So today we're going to do the verb to be for these same two tenses, the future and the imperfect. And the verb to be in all natural languages is highly irregular. And what we have, we've learned the present, right? Sum est, sumus estis sunt. Now we're going to extend this to these two tenses. Now you might expect this to attach as an infix onto this. That's what a normal verb would do. To be is not a normal verb. So what we're going to do instead, but it is related to these infixes. So the future infix is bi, right? And the diagnostic feature, the thing you're going to recognize to detect a future tense of the verb to be, is that I. So it's going to look like this. And the third person singular is it. In many ways unpredictable, but in many ways easy to recognize, right? This T is our third person singular, and our I tells us we're in the future. And they're going to be built off of this system. So second person singular is going to be eris, erimus in the first person plural, erimus, eritis. And then we're going to get the same two slightly unusual features, the third person plural and the first person singular, that we're used to in our future tense. So the third person plural is not erint, but erunt, just as we have amabunt for the future. They will love. We have here erunt, the future tense of to be. They will be. And likewise for the first person singular, we're going to get ero, just like we have bo, amabo, I will love. So your er is functioning as your stem, and you have your I telling you are in the future tense, and then you have your personal endings that look just like we might expect or hope a personal ending would look like. And the imperfect is going to function very similarly, except instead of an I telling us it's in the future, we're going to have an A telling us we are in the imperfect. So if we begin again with this third person singular, we start with ought. He was. He, she, it, Steve was. Again, personal ending, third person singular, A telling us we're in the imperfect, and the stem, which may be somewhat related to this over here, the est and estis, the s, you can see some similarities, but certainly it's unpredictable. And this paradigm, this will then follow the paradigm. You'll have eros, the second person, eramus, eratis, and erant. And just like we have bomb for the first person singular, B-A-M, amabam, I was loving, we are going to have eram for the first person singular, imperfect of to be. Eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratis, erant. So, you now have the present, the imperfect, and the future of the verb to be. There are a few more things in this chapter. One thing is that there are lots of prefixes that will attach themselves to the verb to be. One very common one is this prefix pot. And usually this is very easy. If you just add pot to the front of the verb to be, you get potest, potes, potestis, poteram, poteros, poterat, potero, poteris, poterit. You get the picture. Just slap it on there, and it changes the meaning. It is no longer he is, it is now he is able. We get potentiality, lots of words related to ability come from this potency, right? The only weirdness here is that if this attaches directly to an S, as in possum, possumus, or possunt, this T turns into a second S. So you don't get potsum, you get possum. The TS sound combination just simplifies to SS. So most of the time this attaches to an E, no issue, but when this attaches to an S, the T just becomes another S. So you get possum, possumus, possunt. There's also something in this chapter about complementary infinitives. This is not difficult. This is the basic sense of infinitives. We've probably talked about this already. There are a number of verbs like debeo, ought, audeo, to dare, verbs like this, studeo, to be eager, to be zealous, that just sort of need another, or at least want another verbal idea to complete them. I dare, audeo, to love, amare, audeo, amare, right? You dare to do something, and that to do something is going to be put into the infinitive. Very straightforward, the kind of use of an infinitive that you're expecting, and that you've in fact already seen in your homework. Okay.